Hey guys, before we jump in, I just want to apologize in advance that you might hear a little bit of strange noises while I'm recording this intro. So I apologize for that, but this is where I am and where I have to record the episode. So bear with me just for a few seconds. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Board Bag Studio, the podcast where I talk to snowboarders about their habits regarding fitness, health, and everything else. I'm Jesse Paul, and today I spoke with Melissa Riitano in an Airbnb just outside of Sugarbush, Vermont. We were there for the Bush Project, and we had a great time talking. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Raw Life Superfoods, an organic superfood company that sells a protein powder, raw honey, algae oil as a supplement, and of course their flagship product, a superfood powder. The company was started by John Mata and Joey Mata, pro skateboarder and pro BMXer, and they started the company to live healthier lives, and honestly, I've been taking this stuff every day and I feel amazing. I usually mix up the superfood powder with the protein powder in some coconut milk, full-fat coconut milk, and it's a great way to start any day. Also, for those of you who don't know about algae oil, it's basically a vegan form of fish oil, more absorbable than fish oil, and it's got your omega-3s, both DHA and EPA. It's great stuff, and I highly recommend it. And my listeners get 10% off at rawlife.com by using the code Jesse. That's JESSE at rawlife.com. RAWRLIFE.com. And guess what? This episode is also brought to you by Gold Standard CBD, an organic hemp-derived CBD company that sells hemp sticks, which are basically pre-rolled hemp flower joints, and they sell a vape pen and vape cartridges of 250 milligram and 500 milligram dosage, and they also sell these individual little honey sticks that have 15 milligrams of CBD each, and you can get 20% off of all this stuff by using the code BOARDBAG20, that's BOARDBAG20, at goldcbd.com. That's goldcbd.com. This stuff is all amazing. I've used it all. It makes me feel good, keeps me relaxed, gets me to sleep, reduces inflammation. You know the deal. CBD is great stuff, and I think you'll enjoy it. Melissa and I went all over the place with this one. She started out telling me about the places that she's lived and that she currently lives in Salt Lake City. And she told me about her season plans and just some other things she's been up to lately. And then we got right into some injuries that she's had in the past. She told me about the recovery of those and the rehab process and the mental and physical aspects of it all. And she gave some great book recommendations for getting through the whole recovery process of multiple injuries, but also just good books for life in general. I plan on reading all of the ones that she recommended. She then told me about what she does to work out and stay in shape with a combination of running, yoga, lifting weights, and even mountain biking and other various activities. She even told me about some Chinese medicine stuff that she's been getting into. This rub called White Tiger. She let me try it out, and it was amazing. I put it on my swellbow, and pretty much instantly the pain started going away. At least it felt like it to me. And then we got into some recovery techniques that she's tried in the past and what works for her and what she likes. But after that, we got a lot into food. She told me about some smoothies that she likes to do, which I always love a new smoothie recipe. And she told me about a healthy cookie, which I'll give the details of how to bake this healthy cookie more specifically in the outro. I'll give you the ratios. And I touched a little bit on the basics of a vegan pizza that I like to make. It's really good. And then we even got into some supplements and finally finished it off by talking about what makes her feel happy and centered. Melissa is a great snowboarder and a genuine great human being. And I'm excited to bring this conversation to you. So sit back and enjoy. Hey, Melissa.
Hi, Jesse.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing great. My board bag finally showed up.
Yeah, I was worried about that. 2 days?
Almost.
Well, you flew in yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday night, and then they said it was going to maybe get here tomorrow morning. So that would have been 2 days, but
yeah,
luckily it's here.
And we are at the Bush Project right now.
We are at the Bush Project. I'm really excited.
In Sugarbush. And yeah, it's great you got your board because there's only 4 days. So
I know.
If you would have missed 3, that would have been a bummer to come out here just for 1 day. But
right.
I'm glad you got it. And tomorrow is going to be a great day. It's going to be sunny out there, a little cold, but
yeah,
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like when the sun is out, I could care less about how cold it is because just being able to see, there's so many transitions in there that being able to see actually what's going on and the curvature of the snow is going to make such a big difference. So it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm excited. The pictures look fun, so I'm excited to rip.
Yeah. And so you flew out from Salt Lake City.
Yep, Salt Lake City.
How long have you been living there?
Just about 2 full years now.
Cool. And where were you before that?
I was in Colorado before that. I lived there for, I think, 3 years. Kind of, I've been bouncing around, honestly. I have a hard time keeping it straight, like how long I've been places.
Yeah. And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Montana, in Helena. It's 7 hours straight north of Salt Lake.
Okay, cool. And so you moved to Colorado after Montana, or?
No, actually.
Sorry, just kinda
yeah. My journey started, I don't think a lot of people know this. Actually, I graduated high school early and moved straight down to California.
Oh, cool.
Well, stopped in Colorado first because my friend was in college there, and then went to Vegas because you're 18 and Vegas makes sense for some reason, but not really. And
wow. Nice.
And then lived in Tahoe for that season and then came back to Montana. And then the next year I moved out to Colorado.
Okay, cool. And that was to pursue snowboarding, I'm assuming?
Yeah, that was all for snowboarding. I wanted to graduate early because I couldn't just sit and watch the snowfall anymore. I just wanted to get out there. I didn't really have a plan. I just was winging it.
Yeah. And how long have you been snowboarding?
I don't even know how many years now. Probably 15 years, maybe. Nice. Something like that.
Cool. Well, so last year you worked on the Flora project, the think tank thing with Nirvana and others. Are you guys continuing something like that this year?
Something like that. It's been kind of like trying to figure out what we're doing and where we fit in this world of snowboarding. Originally, like, I was going to do absinthe, and then it got kind of rigmarolled around, and then that wasn't happening anymore, which is okay. Like, totally fine with that. But just kind of talking with Madison and Nirvana. Madison is in Japan right now, and I'm here with Nirvana, so we're just gonna kind of see where it goes. We have kind of a basic plan. Maybe having Fauna be the sequel to Flora. Flora and Fauna.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. It's all happening really organically, so I think that's a lot of good things happen that way.
Yeah, and you guys don't have a filmer picked out, right? Nirvana was saying you are going to be like day rating people, kind of?
Yep, just day rating.
Yeah, I think that's actually kind of cool. Like, it's different.
Yeah.
And it seems definitely more affordable, and just a different way to approach it. I've never even really thought about doing that for a video project, but it makes sense.
It does. I hope at the end it ends up being really cohesive, but I'm sure we'll always make it work. I know that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if it's anything like what you guys put out last year, it's going to be enjoyable.
Thanks. Like last year was really fun. Like just filming with Nirvana, Madison, and Jackie was really fun. Like it was just a good group of people. Just enjoyable. I think we're all kind of on the same page of just like wanting more now, like just to do more as snowboarders, not female snowboarders, but just as snowboarders. Like,
yeah, I like that.
Bringing more to the table. Like we just happen to be a bunch of girls, but we don't want to make it, hey, we're girls snowboarding. We're snowboarding. Mm-hmm. I think Nirvana did a really good job with the editing, kind of conveying our own personal styles and not making us seem too girly, but just seeming to be ourselves, which is perfect.
Yeah, I thought it was super in line with the way you guys are. And I think when something like that where the writers are involved with either the conception of the project or somehow following through with it, it really makes a difference, and you can feel that in the whole project. Like it totally is about you guys, and it feels that way. And I mean, I think I saw Nirvana working on the proposal for the next one, and I have been working on a little proposal for a thing with my friend Dan as well. And first of all, hers looks way better. Your guys' proposal looks amazing. But
all Nirvana.
I think it's super cool to, like, as we've been doing this for a good amount of years, and to be able to kind of get your hands in the backside and help to actually make things happen, it's really rewarding. Yeah, so it's cool to see you guys doing that.
Thanks. I'm excited. I know we're gonna come up with something, and I think it's gonna be cool. I love snowboarding with Nirvana, and we always have fun. We push each other, which is really what you want. Yeah. And we have each other's backs, like Madison too, like, and Jackie. Both of those girls, just as a crew, like everybody together is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what you guys do.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So were you going to say something? Sorry.
Oh, no. I'm
okay. Good. Yeah. So you got injured. You've been injured a number of times. Let's just start there. We were in the hot tub earlier, and you were telling me about the hardware in your kneecap. Sounds crazy. I can't imagine having hardware in my kneecap. But let's start there. What happened with your knee?
My kneecap, that was about 5 years ago now. So I did it November 3rd of a season. I was being stupid, just doing way too much too early, and I smashed my knee on a rail support, and it shattered, like just broke. And originally, like I just remember my leg went numb from my hip down. I couldn't feel anything. It just,
like, right when it happened?
Yeah, everything just shut down. I didn't really feel pain, which I thought was a little odd. I felt a little, but it wasn't like the worst thing I'd experienced.
You would think like shattering your kneecap would be unbearably painful.
That's what everybody says too. So that's like, in my head, I was convinced. I'm like, there's no way it's broken. Like, there's absolutely no way. I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. Like 2 weeks, like max. Like, sit in a bed. I thought the bone was bruised. Like, I was convinced. And then I was just kind of laid up waiting. I lived in Utah again at the time. I've bounced back and forth, but I was living in Utah. I did it in Colorado. So I was waiting to drive back with Madison, actually. Drove back the whole way to Utah, like knee still broken. Didn't go to the doctor yet because I was still convinced. I'm like, it's fine. Like, it's totally fine. And then the next morning, the swelling hadn't gone down, and this had been 2 days since the initial incident. And I'd borrowed some crutches from Madison, and I kind of limping into the doctor to get an x-ray, and she's like, well, seeing as though like you're limping in on crutches, I don't think it's broken. And then I'm like, cool, but got the x-ray, and lo and behold, it was like just absolutely fucked, like shattered, like.
Man, and so did you ever like feel around on your kneecap or any, like, you would think you'd be able to feel
Oh,
just pieces or something.
well, it was the size of like an orange.
Oh, so you couldn't even
no, I couldn't
get
even.
in there.
I was like trying to move it around, and I was trying to like bend it and straighten it to like move the swelling out.
Wow.
That was a dumb move. It's crazy. That's how powerful your mind is. If you don't want to be injured, you will pretend that you're not.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, bones don't agree with you usually.
No, but that was honestly, I think, one of the best things that's ever happened to me, like breaking my kneecap, which was, it sounds insane.
Because of the rehab process, or
just everything. I think just being I think where I was in life, I wasn't ready to be like a professional snowboarder, I guess, if you want to.
Yeah.
But I just remember thinking, like, oh, my friends have sponsors. Why don't I have sponsors? And then I was so wrapped up into that and not really grasping what it meant to be a snowboarder and like what it meant to go down this path. And I think doing that made me just have a lot of alone time to think about that.
Yeah, get a chance to take a step back and really reassess.
Exactly. And then I started reading like sports psychology books, and it was,
cool.
I feel like it was like a big turning point in just life in general when doing that.
Are there any books in particular that seem to make a big impact on you?
Every book has had a different impact at a different part of my journey. Like the first one I read was called Mind Gym.
Classic.
Yep, classic. I know a lot of people have probably read that one.
Yeah, well, actually, in Chris's podcast, we talked about that for a second, and a handful of people have hit me up and said, oh, I got this book because of the podcast. So, it's cool. Spread the word. Like, it's a great book for sure.
Yeah, I love that book. Like, that was really helpful, like, when you're injured, especially, like, having that tool to have, like, the visualization, like, and then...
Yeah, you can pretty much get better when you're on the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you just work things out in your head, and it's, it's shown that mental training can be almost as powerful as actual training, at least when you're getting to a higher level like that. So
absolutely. Yeah, that kind of lit a fire under my ass, honestly.
That's so cool.
A conclusion drawn from being injured was like, I suck. Like, I need to get better. I'm like, why do I need sponsors? I'm like, you don't need sponsors. Like, you need to get better at snowboarding. And that is like your one and only goal. Like,
that's
screw,
amazing.
like, I'm like, and then that just faded away. I'm like, if I'm good enough, I'll get them. And if I'm not, like, it's not meant to be. And that's just where I was at. And then the whole next year, I just dedicated myself. I'm like, you're going to learn tricks because you know how to do a backside 360 and a lip slide. And that is not enough.
Yeah. Well, damn, that's super cool to kind of take that approach. And I will say that before I started really making a career out of this stuff, it's so easy to get all that stuff get in your head. Like, you want to get sponsored, you feel like you should get sponsored, and you definitely need something, or you just need to really, it's so true. Like, if you put in the work and you're good enough and you're getting out there, like, people are going to notice. You just got to get to that level. So it's cool. Yeah.
I also think I got lucky. I think it's a lot of little pieces that kind of come together. It's not just being good. It's not just doing the training. It's just, it's kind of just all encompassing. It's like the stars align. I don't even know how to describe it. But
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to making a living as a snowboarder, for sure.
When I was younger, I would have never guessed. I would have been like, oh, these guys just like, they probably just hop on a plane because somebody's like, oh, you're going here. And like, I didn't realize like those people are actually planning these trips out, and like they're fully involved. It's not just being like, hey, you're going to Finland tomorrow, have fun. It's like, okay, it's like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to film? Who do you want to film with? Like, what do you want your part to be like? And there's so much more than I would have. Yeah,
you're not just necessarily along for the ride. You really got to make your own moves. And
that's like definitely what I thought at that point. And that was, just huge awakening. Even like every year I learn more. I feel like there's still so much that I don't know, which is awesome. Yeah,
I mean, always learning. Like I said, this is the first time I've really worked on a proposal, and and really heard the behind the scenes conversations about getting funding and the amount. And it's kind of weird. You're like, how much do I ask for? Or,
Yeah.
you're not really sure how much money sponsors actually have to give out, at least first time around to figuring those things out. But
yeah,
it's a lot. But I want to rewind a little bit. First of all, before I forget, did that rail that you broke your kneecap on, did it have skirting? Or
yeah,
was it did.
No,
and so you just like must have fallen in some crazy way.
I felt it was a 50-50.
Oh man. Back knee?
Back knee.
Yeah. Okay.
I came off the rail early and
just knee straight.
Yeah, like everybody thought I like tacoed it because like I grabbed the rail after I hit my knee because I was like, oh no, like something. It felt like the most aggressive. Like if anybody's given you a dead leg before, that's like what it felt like times like 100. Like
crazy.
Shut down.
Yeah, that's wild. And then what other books, if you can recall?
Oh yeah. The Confidence Gap has been a really interesting one to read.
I have not heard of that. What's up with it?
I need to like rewind and recall that one a little more.
That's okay. I can also just we'll take a pause here. But
yeah,
if you can't remember or whatever, I can always just refer to it in the intro or in the at the end is probably what I'll do and be like just a brief summary of it. But,
yeah, I do remember
the Confidence Gap.
Yeah. So that one is about talking about how it's okay to feel the negative feelings that you're feeling, and you shouldn't just try and push them away all the time and pretend that you're happy. But it's like diffusing your own self from the emotion and realizing that you are not always your thoughts, and like your thoughts aren't going to come true just because you're thinking of like, if you're thinking I'm going to eat shit, that doesn't mean you're actually going to eat shit. It's just a thought in your head, and it kind of detaches you from like negative thoughts, from like buying into them fully.
That makes sense, because then instead of being like, oh, I can't think about falling, I can't think about this not working out because then that's what I am and that's what could be.
Yeah.
But instead, like, oh, hey, bad thought, like you can keep going.
Yeah,
like, that doesn't define me.
Exactly.
That's cool. That's actually really in line with just meditation in general, like the ability to realize that you aren't your thoughts. You're not just this collection of moment to moment thoughts, and like when you can take a step back and be like, oh, those are just arising in consciousness. Yeah. And then you recognize it and let it go. But is that a sports psychology book, or is that just like I
don't even know,
a good book?
I had it recommended to me by another snowboarder friend. My friend, two of them, like Christy Pryor and Jess Rich, like they're a couple of just badasses. If you don't know who they are, they're awesome. Yeah. But they both read that book and recommended it to me, and
cool.
I read it.
But it's not like sport central, or does it just kind of brings up everything in daily life?
Yeah, pretty much. It's not like specific to sports. It's like more specific to just life, I guess.
Cool.
But yeah, they have exercise in the book at the end of the chapters that you should follow. Like they have, like you were saying, like the meditations, like there's the leaf exercise where you just close your eyes for a while and imagine your thoughts on this stream. And then every thought that you have, you just put it on a leaf floating down the stream. And so you notice it there, but you just kind of let it float away. It's more of a passive way to look at it than fighting what you're thinking, and just allowing it and not fighting yourself, because I feel like that's easy to fight yourself.
Yeah. So it sounds like some relaxing imagery too. Might calm yourself a little bit in the process.
Yeah, it's super awesome.
Cool. Any other books?
Yes, there's one more that I read recently called The Rise of Superman, and it's not a graphic novel. That one talks about, I'm sure a lot of people have talked about it, maybe even Grenier, the flow state. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of podcasts other people have listened to, but it dives into like how extreme athletes have been able to progress so quickly.
Oh, cool.
It's super cool. Like that's just the scientific name they decided to put on it, was flow state.
Yeah.
It's like getting in a state where your body and mind are just working. You're not even thinking. Like, that one's a really cool read. And it's actually relatable to snowboarders. It's not talking about baseball players and football players where your risk is pretty, like, you kind of know your risks with those sports. Like, it's pretty well managed. But when you're an extreme athlete, like you're a snowboarder, a surfer, a skater, like, there are so many variables, like, that you can't relate to with the baseball, like, mentality.
Yeah.
It's like you can die. Like, Shane McConkey was, like, in that book, and, like, I've obviously, like he unfortunately passed away skiing, and they talk about his accident, and that is, the consequences are just, it's different. So that's it's a cool book to read, like, just getting more of an understanding of what our brain is doing when we're enveloped in snowboarding.
Yeah. And remind me of the title again.
The Rise of Superman.
The Rise of Superman. I definitely will check that one out.
You'll love that one. Like,
cool.
The opening part is with, like, Bob Burnquist jumping over the Great Wall of China. It's really cool.
No way. That's awesome.
I had no clue. Like, he actually had a broken ankle.
When he did that?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he broke his ankle, like, I think the first or second hit, and he continued to, like, not only...
No way.
Yeah.
What? Oh my...
Not only just jump it, but, like, do threes over it, and, like, it...
I suppose when you've got that kind of a production, you kind of just...
Yeah, it's like...
If you can ride, you kind of have to.
Yeah, exactly, but...
Jeez.
It's like, how can... Like, that's what baffles scientists. Like, how can they perform under that, like, extreme pain? But, like, when they're talking about it, like, you're... Like, we'll just call it the flow state, like how they're talking about it. It's like your brain kind of just, you would think that it has more activity, but it has less activity.
Mm-hmm.
It's
almost like you get more instinctual. I feel like that sometimes when I'm hitting a spot, especially when it's a little bit more high consequence, a little dangerous, or it's just big. I feel this, like, animalistic, instinctual energy in me that I'm just, like, so zoned in. And like, the fear goes away and you're just in, like, battle mode, you know? I don't know if you have that same experience, but it's that's crazy. And I can see how that would shut down some parts, because you kind of have to shut down your reasoning part. You're gonna, like, put yourself in a bunch of danger.
And then you don't even feel sometimes, like, you hit your elbow, like, on something, and you won't even feel it until that night. And that's, like, also what they talk about in that book, is, like, what else your brain shuts down.
Huh.
It's really interesting.
Cool.
It's cool.
And was that one that you were reading while you were recovering, or that's one you've read recently?
That one's recently. That one was this summer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm rereading Mind Gym right now because I recently got injured again. Go figure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it comes with doing what we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a matter of if, it's kind of a matter of when. Like, you're going to take a spill at some point when you're pushing it.
Yeah, it just happens for sure. And sometimes it's a harsh wake-up call. I had never really been seriously injured before I broke my leg, and like, right when it happened, I was like, what am I doing? Like, do I even want to keep snowboarding? But then, you know, you heal from it, you get better, and you're like, okay, well, that could happen again. That's part of what we do.
Yeah, you kind of go through that roller coaster, though. You're like, you
get a lot of time to think about life, and you're like,
you really do.
Is this where I want to go? And then, you know, you give yourself time, and you're like, yeah, actually, I love this.
Yeah, the answer comes to you, and it's a definite answer. It's not like a maybe. It's either a yes or it's a no. Yeah,
definitely. For some people, they're just done, you know? And I respect that too. Like, if I came to that conclusion, I would just be like, all right, well, I'm going to go get a master's degree or something and just go, like, take a different path. But that's after months of sitting on the couch, and that's not what I decided. So,
yeah, I mean, ultimately you just have to follow your heart, and you know what's right in your heart. So,
yeah. And the knee injury, was that your first major injury?
I would say that's the first major. It had minor things like bone bruising. I bruised my back like 4 vertebrae, but I would still consider that not as major just because I was only out for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, it was very painful, but I wasn't.
And what did you do to do that?
Oh, I always do these things at rail jams. Like, or I did. That was like always
Classic.
my like downfall. I'm like, not that I wanted to win so bad, that I was just like so amped up, and then I'd get unfocused. But yeah, this one was at Keystone. I was doing a back 3 out of a tube, and I caught my heels off of the tube, and I remember going up and then down, and it was like ice that day.
Jeez. So you probably just were like feet straight up in the air.
Yeah, like banana peel.
I could see that. Oh, man.
Yeah, but hey, you live and you learn, right?
Yeah. And then last season was the cut on your head, right? Yeah. That's crazy. And so, tell the story of that.
That one's kind of a funny story. Not funny. Like, just because I got really lucky. But so I remember it was Christmas Day, and I was waiting at the bottom lift for Madison. I wasn't feeling that well, so I'm like, I'm just gonna take it easy today. Just kind of mellow turns, and met up with Madison. We went up the chairlift at Brighton, and then riding through the trees, there was some new snow, and I was only riding in tracks because I'm like, it's early. I don't want to hit a log or break my leg or risk injury by like just going off the trail and getting hurt.
Yeah, of course. When it's low snow, that it's sketchy out there.
Exactly. But I don't know what I was thinking. We were on top of this little rollover, is what it looked like from the top. And like Madison was below, and I'm like, how's it look down there? And she's like, oh, it's fine. Like, it looked like perfect snow, but I don't know exactly what happened. Like, my nose caught a rock at some point, and it flipped me right to my face onto another rock. Was it at the top of the rollover, or? That part's a little fuzzy.
Oh, damn.
But I didn't get a concussion. I can't happen.
It just happened so quickly.
So fast.
Jeez.
But yeah, so I hit my face on another rock, and then all I could get out was not okay.
Oh no.
I just saw blood, like a lot of blood. And my goggles were off, my hat was off, and Madison had come up, and I was like calm at that point, and I saw like so much blood, and Madison was like kind of like uneasy about it. And
yeah.
Obviously.
I believe it.
Yeah, and
I would be too.
I stand up and I see it all coming out, and I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like,
is it like, it's not like, I mean, it's gushing, but it's not like squirting.
No, no, not squirting, but it's running down my face like a lot, because I know you can't see it, but directly in the middle of my forehead is where that big cut was. And yeah, as I'm standing up, I'm like, it's okay, Madison. It's a head wound. They bleed a lot. But as I was saying that, like, I touched my forehead because I wanted to feel what was happening, like how bad it was. And I kind of moved the skin, and she like could see my skull, and I saw her face go white, like ghost white. And she's like, we need to go. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I just I got a snowball and I packed it on my forehead, and we just rode down to ski patrol. And she felt so bad, but it wasn't her fault. Like, it was just an accident, like dumb operator error.
Yeah. I don't know about that. More just like freak accident.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't see that stuff sometimes.
Yeah, but my nose was really broken, which was, I didn't even feel any of it at first. Like, my body has a great response when I get that injured. Yeah,
sounds like it. That's crazy.
I don't know what happens, but I go into like almost like survival mode, and I'm like, you're fine.
Yeah.
But I really was fine. Like, I got down to the hospital, and the ER on Christmas is great because nobody is there.
Everybody's chilling on Christmas.
Yeah, all the staff. I was like, my whole goal, I'm like, well, all these guys have to be here on Christmas. I'm just going to try and make them laugh the whole time. Like, I was fine. Like, I didn't have a concussion. I didn't have a skull fracture. I'm like, my nose is 100%.
Got lucky.
Yeah. Like, my nose is 100% broken, and I have a gash on my head, and I didn't know how bad it was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. And like, it's totally fine. But yeah, everybody, I guess, going to the hospital waits until the next day to go in. Like the day after Christmas, they're like, I don't care if my appendix is gonna burst. I'm damn well gonna spend Christmas with my family.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what all the hospital people were telling me. And that was kind of funny. But
and so then you get stitches.
Yep, I had 3 layers because it was every layer of skin had ripped.
Oh my, that's horrifying.
It was gruesome. Like
3 layers of stitches?
Yeah,
I've never even heard of that.
I didn't even realize your skin was that thick on your forehead. Like,
yeah,
it was crazy. Yeah, so each layer they called in a plastic surgeon, which I was pretty happy about because it was like middle of my face, but which isn't a big deal. But
I mean, it looks like it's not even there. Like I don't even see it. It's crazy how well they did.
Yeah, that was a crazy experience, and it was honestly kind of cool watching it heal. Like each stage of the healing like was kind of cool. Like I'm kind of a weirdo about that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe my future when I'm like 40 has medical in it. Who knows? But
yeah. I mean, I see you have all kinds of little creams and lotions and
all the
things.
potions.
Yeah, that's great. We'll get into that in a second. But so how long was the recovery process for that?
I got back on my board probably too soon. I was boarding again in a week, which was probably a mistake because
stitched up still.
Yeah, stitched up. I was that time I was just cruising, like just groomers, and my nose was broken, so I knew it was going to be 6 weeks, but the winter is too short to wait 6 weeks at times.
Yeah.
And I knew the odds of me falling on my face were pretty low to do it again the way I did it. So I didn't land on my face again, so that's good.
That's great. Yeah. And then you filmed after that.
Yep. Probably a week after that, went up to my hometown in Helena, actually, and just went up with all the girls, and we started filming Flora stuff up there.
Sick. That's great. And any other major ones or anything else like that?
More minor stuff like
just bumps and bruises, aches and pains, classic.
Yeah, the standard.
Yeah, and so when you hurt your knee, I can imagine the rehab process of that was pretty intense. That
was really intense. That was just trying to bend it again because I wanted to get back on my board, and I had a really great surgeon and really great team behind all of that. So they're like, well, you're going to start physical therapy in a week, which meant just pretty much bending and flexing it again, which was awful.
Yeah.
Because it was still broken. They just there's currently 5 screws and a plate in there, and I'm going to keep it in there until I can keep it in there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the first bit. Just starting at phase 1 was hard, and then you don't really move out of phase 1 for a lot of weeks. No pressure on it. I got lucky by the way that I was full weight bearing because I was in a crotch to ankle brace. So as long as my knee didn't buckle and bend, it would heal just fine because it was a vertical break.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I could fully weight bear. So I was doing everything I could. I was still doing calf raises just to stay strong and just anything I could.
Yeah. Did you lose a good amount of muscle throughout the process either way?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was 80% atrophied. It was just a tiny little leg. And
yeah, it's weird, huh?
Yeah, my left butt cheek was so small after.
Oh, man.
Which was super funny. I just had a lopsided butt for months
hilarious.
After.
Wow.
Which I thought was really funny. I would just kind of wait to compare each hand. I'm like, yep, it's still tiny.
And then when you got to the point where it was starting to feel better and you were actually doing strength training to get it back, were you going to the gym and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So much.
Nice.
Until my leg was literally, it's crazy how fast you can max out your leg when it's that weak. You can make it like, I've never seen my legs shake like that. It was just the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, you could do like 5 leg dips and the whole thing would just be like, looked like jello.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But that took a while, but I was in a really good mind space, so I'm like, I just wanted to
Mind gym.
Yeah. I really was so excited about getting back on my snowboard. It was easy to like kind of fight through the pain to get back. But even like getting back on your board after something like that is so much more painful than you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Just like your one leg has all the years you've been alive worth of strength, and then this one you're starting from like 1 year old leg which has no strength. So it's kind of good in a way because you can build it up any way you want to and build it up correctly, like train your muscles right.
So you were building back your leg. You did a lot of exercises that you were really maxing it out, and you wanted to build it back properly. And, you know, obviously that's hard when you're trying to work one side really hard and the other side is already good to go. Like, were you doing, if you say you did 5 leg presses on your bad leg, were you rounding that out on your other leg as well?
Yeah, I definitely would increase the weight on the other leg, trying to not get the other one too far ahead of the other.
Yeah.
But still, like, now I still have a little bit imbalance. Like, my left leg, my weak leg, is actually stronger than my uninjured leg now.
Oh, really?
It's
I guess, yeah, that would make sense how that would happen. I almost, I think that my right calf, it's super weird, but my right calf, I think just like I'm right footed, so my right leg has been stronger before I got injured. And then I did all the rehab and strength training, stuff like that. And my right calf is like way bigger because I focus so much on doing those like calf raises and stuff like that it's like I should probably try to balance out a little bit. But I also think that snowboarding, you kind of need a stronger back leg anyways. And snowboarding's so imbalanced with all that body stuff anyways that...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I think so, too. I guess we should just ride switch as much as possible.
Yeah, right? That would be...
That's
what a trainer would say. Yeah, just ride switch at the same amount of time that you ride regular.
You don't even know how hard that is. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. And so was that kind of your first time really working out, or have you been into working out and things like that before?
A long time ago, actually, before I started snowboarding, I was a gymnast.
Oh,
so
cool.
I had like this whole like workout mentality from there, and like getting strong, just like knowing how to do it, I guess, from a young age. And I didn't even really think about it as like exercising. I was just had way too much energy. So my mom was just like, here you go. Like, let's put you in there, which was great learning experiences. So I got into it then, kind of fell off the wagon few years in high school, like when I was kind of a younger shithead and being like, I'm a snowboarder. I just snowboard. I don't need to go to the gym. That's like preppy. And
anything organized is lame.
Yeah. And then after I graduated high school, I started getting into my own routine and like just finding something that worked for me. And right now I feel like I love doing a lot of cardio. I feel like it gets me really prepared for the winter. And then I do free weights, not as often. I like a lot of exercise, like on the Bosu ball, like kind of mix it up with weight and like turning. It's like really hard to explain, but you're working like probably 20 muscles at once, and they're all like those little fine-tuned muscles, not like your big bulky muscles.
Yeah, that stuff's great too because you're balancing and you're using kind of your whole body as you're doing it, and just, you know, it's like the total opposite of using like a machine where you're trying to isolate one muscle, which I think is really smart for being an athlete in general, but especially like being a snowboarder, you're always using, like everything you do, you're using your whole body. So that stuff's great. But did you, when you were doing gymnastics, that was probably just like body weight stuff, right?
Yep. Just body weight stuff. There were no actual weights involved.
Yeah. And then when you started doing your own routine, you incorporated some of that body weight stuff with like new things.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and did you ever get a trainer or anything, or how did you learn?
At first, no trainer. I just would kind of be on the elliptical and like kind of observe. I'm like, okay, what are people doing here? Like, because I have no clue what I'm doing. I would just kind of see what exercises people would do and be like, oh, I want to try that. And then if I was sore the next day, it obviously worked. And then a couple of my friends, when I lived in Breckenridge, my friend Charlotte, we got on a good program together. We'd go to the gym every morning in the summer to get ready for winter.
Oh, cool.
And then she was the one that really taught me how to like properly like lift, and like you don't necessarily have to lift all day. Like you can get a workout in like 15 minutes and it'd be really effective.
Yeah. And so what kind of things was she teaching you specifically?
So it was a lot of like how to build strength quickly.
Okay.
So
how do you do that?
The way she told me, I have no clue if it's actually like the way, but she talked about doing like sets of on the free weights, not necessarily the most, but just maxing out your weight and doing like 3. Okay. So say you can squat normally, I'm just throwing out a number, like 100 pounds normally is what you like your go-to. You want to build strength, you want to kind of shock your muscles and go to say 115, not so far out that you can't do it or you'll injure yourself, but just go heavier so it kind of shocks your body, being like, oh, this is really heavy, and it has to like really work for it, but less reps, I guess, like 3 and not 6.
Yeah, and then you saw that, I mean, that seemed to work for you pretty well?
Yeah, it did. I did that for a full summer, and it worked great. I felt really strong going into the season.
And were you doing just like squats, deadlifts, bench presses?
Yep, kind of all that whole routine. And then I have a fun comparison to the next season. She moved away, and then I started working at a yoga studio the following summer. Actually, I worked at 2 because I just wanted to learn more about the whole practice. And then I did that every day.
That's pretty crazy.
Every day, sometimes like twice a day. Sometimes there was a couple times I did 3 times a day, and that was way too much. But I went back like right before the season. I'm like, oh my gosh, shoot, I haven't like lifted any weights. Like I need to get strong for the season. And then started lifting, and I was exactly as strong as I was the year before lifting weights the whole year. So I haven't really figured out the exact recipe, like what's the best thing. I feel like yoga was the best on my body as far as making body and mind happy.
Yeah, and it's a nice balance. You get the stretch, you get the relaxation, and you can get the workout. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things to do, and I want to do all of it. Like I want to go to yoga every day, and you know, during the summer I was swimming like most days, and then I was rock climbing, and then I still wanted to skate, and I still kind of wanted to get into lifting weights again.
Way
but it's
too
like,
many hobbies.
You literally like your body can only take so much, and so it's really hard to choose. But
yeah,
you said you were doing a little bit of cardio as well.
Yeah, mine's pretty standard. A lot of times I just run for an hour on the elliptical, which is so incredibly boring. But
do you like listen to anything or watch anything while you're doing it?
I try and just get myself like into a state, because sometimes you are where you don't want to be, and that's kind of when I do the elliptical, I'm forcing myself to be where I don't want to be. So it's kind of like a mental exercise for me too, just being like you got this, just trudge through it. Like there's going to be other things in life you don't like, and you know, you just got to work through it.
Wow, that's inspiring. That's cool. And so just no headphones, you're just raw.
I do go headphones.
Okay.
No,
I thought you were saying like I'm putting myself through this. This is the only thing
No,
I'm doing.
Oh my God, that would be like that would be awful. You would just hear like clunk and like the whole time from other people in the gym. That would be that'd be kind of next level.
For an hour?
Oh my God, an hour even with
that
music
would be a mental exercise.
Yeah, an hour even with music is just brutal.
Yeah, definitely.
You're just like, why am I doing this? And then you see like 45 minutes go by and you're like, okay, I got 15 minutes. I got this.
Yeah.
But until you hit that mark, it just blows.
Mm-hmm. And then would you like pair that with lifting or doing yoga, or is that usually if you're going to go do cardio for an hour, you go and that's all you do?
That's usually kind of it. Unless I do it in the morning or evening, then I'll pair it with something else. But usually that's, if I'm doing that, I won't try and stress out my body too much more.
Yeah, and doing that for an hour, I would think it would be hard to
It's a lot.
keep going after that.
Yeah. I remember the first time I did it, I was so committed. I'm like, I'm running an hour. And then I didn't really think about how much you'd sweat after an hour. And
yeah.
I remembered to bring a towel every time since, but I just was drenched and I just pretty much ran out of the gym because I'm like, I'm so gross. Like, I don't even want to, like, just grabbed all my stuff and left. I'm like, okay, so we're bringing a towel next time.
Have you thought about doing any sort of long distance running, like marathon or anything like that? Because if you're running for an hour, that you're getting up there. That's a good distance.
I started running in Sugar House Park actually this summer, so I don't know. Maybe in the future, like there was like a mulch track, so it's a little easier on your knees. But that's pretty. I enjoy it enough, but I don't know about marathons. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, well, it might be a fun thing to try and go for.
Yeah.
I did a triathlon, and it was really fun last summer. It was really fun to just have something a goal and to work towards that really hard. And I've always wanted to do a marathon. I don't know when I'll get around to it, but I will sometime. And it's just, those things are kind of cool because you get in shape, but then it's like you're always building, always increasing a little more and more towards a final goal. But then once you do it, you feel great, but then you're like, shit, like
you're
now
like, what's next?
Yeah, what do I do now? I like kind of stopped swimming after I did the triathlon because I didn't have like something that was keeping me going.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool way to stay in shape.
No, it's really cool. It's good to have goals. I think that's a really cool thing. It helps you look forward to working out and having
it helps you get through it
reason.
For sure. Yeah. Easier to get out there in the first place.
Yeah. I guess I agree. Now I mountain bike actually for more cardio. I've been kind of bad with a lot of my gym routine the past year, honestly, but I've kind of supplemented with other things. Like, I started dating Chris. He's so great. But he got me into mountain biking, which is, I love, absolutely love. It kind of fills that void that snowboarding leaves in the summertime.
Yeah. Like I've heard that. And I actually haven't really had a chance to do it myself, but I would love to. I think I would really enjoy it as well.
It's really fun. Like it's really rewarding. You climb like meaning riding uphill for like an hour or more, and then the rest is just downhill. And there's usually like some fun things. It feels like you're on a bank slalom. Like you just go berm to berm, and then sometimes you can catch a little air. Like I catch like an inch of air, but it feels like a foot on something new. You're like, oh my gosh! It like kind of gives you that feeling when you first did like a trick snowboarding. It's like the same kind of feeling.
Yeah, because you're moving and you're flowing, and you're using your whole body to kind of jump around and turn, and that's exactly like snowboarding, especially because you're going downhill. And uphill. But I guess you don't really do that snowboarding, but that's cool.
I guess it could really just split boarding. In a way.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
Do you split board?
I haven't yet. I need to.
Same. I have a board. Had it for years. Haven't gone yet.
I just see this whole I see a trend just like a stacking up of so many hobbies.
I know, right? That's the thing. That's the dangerous part.
I know.
Like there's so many cool things to do, but there's not enough time to do everything.
I agree. It's like
I have such a problem with getting way too interested in things. Because people do stuff because it's cool to do, because it feels good. And there's so many different things because people are like, oh, this is cool, but you just can't do it all. Like,
no.
I don't know. I wish I could.
I know. I guess just cut out sleeping and then you can do Just kidding.
Unfortunately, that's not one that you want to cut out.
That is not an option.
Yeah. So let's talk about recovery. Like I said, you have all these balms and lotions and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
How did you start getting into all that stuff?
What is the first introduction? I guess there's a massage therapist I'd work with a lot in Breckenridge who was great, like Reiki guy, like felt like a mind reader.
Oh, cool.
He's awesome. But he started using some of these, like, there's one called White Tiger, and it cools like everything down to like the very core of, I can't really explain it. Like,
and it's like a Chinese medicine thing, right?
Yeah, it's all Chinese medicine. It was developed by this Tai Chi master, and it helps you just recover faster. Like, think about some of those guys they're slicing through bricks like it's nothing, and they developed all these herbal remedies to like help you sustain like that kind of stuff. So I mean, snowboarding is nothing. We're taking that kind of a hit when they're smashing through bricks.
Yeah.
But yeah, he started using that when he was working on me, and I felt a difference. Like, I felt like at first I didn't believe it, and then I was like, wow, I'm actually like recovering really quickly.
That's
so I would just buy some, and if I like sprained my ankle, like I would use the cold treatment and put ice on it, and it was better in just a couple days instead of like a week.
Wow. Yeah, well, I put some on my elbow. I had a swelbo from today, and I mean, I don't feel it right now. I don't know if it works that fast, but
yeah, I know.
Maybe it
definitely
feels
like,
pretty good now.
Put it on again, and then it'll feel even better. You like keep using it, and then it gets better so much faster. I don't know like if it's your brain, like you're convinced that it gets faster, or if it actually works. Like, it's honestly hard to say, but if putting something on will make your brain think it's getting better faster, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, I definitely, anything with Chinese medicine I kind of trust, because that stuff has been developed over thousands and thousands of years. Like, a lot of their medicinal things, products, and just remedies, they've been around for so much longer than modern science even. And I'm surprised that more people aren't talking about that stuff. Like, when I broke my leg, my mom works with this dude who does a lot of stuff with Chinese medicine, and I had these weird herbs that they like thinned your blood or whatever. It like helped with swelling, and it actually made me feel really weird, because I don't think you're supposed to take it with the narcotics that I was taking at the beginning. And so my heart would like beat super fast, and I was like, oh, this doesn't feel right. But then when I was no longer taking those, I started taking it for the swelling stuff, and it seemed to help really well. And it's the thing that's great about it is it's actual, at least the stuff I was taking, is it was actual plant matter. And a lot of Chinese medicine stuff it's not like synthetic and made in a lab kind of thing. So
yeah,
I think it works.
I think so too. Like, I think pharmaceuticals try and mimic plants, and they make something that acts like a plant.
Yeah.
Like,
tricks your body into thinking it's a plant.
It's so crazy to like kind of look into old medicine, and like apothecaries, like they used to sell cocaine for things. Like, I don't remember what they would sell it for, but I would look into it. Like, there's so many things that used to not be illegal that are legal now. Like, in small doses. Like, I don't remember what that one was supposed to treat, but they would sell that in marijuana or weed, but they would sell that in apothecaries for like nausea, like, and all these things slowly started becoming like actual hard drugs or illegal.
Cocaine is just from a leaf, and they would, you'd chew on a leaf, and that substance would like get into your bloodstream at a really slow rate, and it actually apparently isn't like anything crazy at all. Like, you just chew on this leaf, and it kind of maybe gives you a little energy, and that's kind of how people got through their day, at least cultures that would use that traditionally. And then cocaine now is just that totally extracted and it just in the most raw form. And then when you get it straight into your bloodstream, that's where it's like pretty insane. So it becomes a totally different thing. But
Yeah, I mean, they still actually use it because when I went into the ER for my nose when it was broken with my face thing, I had kind of funny banter going with the doctor all day, but comes in, he's like, "Are you ready for the cocaine?" And
What?
I'm like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "The cocaine." I'm like, "Are you fucking with me right now?" He's like,
no.
He's like, "No." I'm like, I've never done cocaine. And he's just like, "No, we're going to put it up your nose." And I'm like, "What?"
Actually, cocaine?
Yeah, no, they do. Yeah,
What?
they have it in the hospital. It like prevents your nose from bleeding when they reset it.
Whoa. So did you get hyper? Did you get high a little bit?
I was just like, I already had so many things in my system from
you're probably just out of it, kind of.
Yeah, I was already out of it, but it was just, I didn't notice, honestly. I've never done it, so I wouldn't even know. But it was not enjoyable, I would say, because they took these cotton swabs that were probably 2 inches long, and they're wet and cold and soaked in cocaine, and they just put it right up your nose.
Wow, that's really something.
Kind of savage. It was not fun. Would not recommend breaking your nose.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. And they just set it and it heals on its own. You didn't have to.
I have to get it fixed again, but they straightened it out.
Okay.
They the outside bones were really crooked, and it's actually straighter than it was before I broke it.
But you're still you said you're gonna get it fixed more?
Yeah, the inside is like a wave.
Oh,
kind of
crazy.
Looks like that.
Do you have trouble breathing through it at all?
To the right side.
Huh.
It's kind of blocked.
So are they gonna have to break your nose again?
I don't know.
Oh,
Honestly,
man,
I have no
I hope
clue.
not.
It couldn't be worse than accidentally breaking it. It'd be planned.
Yeah, I suppose.
It could be worse.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was off topic from the cocaine.
It's all good. Anyways, so what other things do you do to recover? Do you foam roll? We were in the hot tub for a bit. Do you stretch? You do yoga?
Yeah, I guess I've been using this little red ball lately a lot. It's really hard. It's kind of like a croquet ball, just to roll out my shoulders and leave it on tender spots. But I do that after snowboarding a lot, and then I go to this guy Den in Salt Lake. I'm sure a few people have talked about Den.
Yeah, a couple people.
He makes you want to pass out and cry at the same time, but he fixes your injuries so much faster. I hurt my neck and was out for a couple weeks, but I whiplashed it pretty bad. But he can work magic, and I could turn it the next day, so that was huge.
That's amazing. I need to get to him. Even if I'm not injured, I just kind of want to be like, hey, check out my body. What do I got going on? He seems like a genius.
He is. He's kind of a brain doctor. He does cranial sacral work too. I got a concussion when I did that too a few weeks ago, and that's a weird one. That's weird to explain.
Yeah, I actually, when I was talking to Bodie, he brought up craniosacral, and in the outro of the podcast, I gave a brief description of what it is, and I've actually had craniosacral massage before, not long after I had a concussion, and I don't know, it seems to work for me. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty weird.
It's a weird feeling, you'd feel all this weird movement inside of your head, and you're with them doing pretty much nothing, and you're like, this is odd. Something is happening. I don't know what, and then the next day you wake up and you feel way better. Mm-hmm. So it's a really cool experience. Even if you haven't had a concussion, getting that work done is pretty cool. Just being able to see and feel more clear and crisp.
Yeah, it just kind of removes some of the blocks and just gets the fluids working better, the cerebral fluid, and just kind of aligns things. And
yeah,
it's almost like getting a chiropractic adjustment for your brain.
It kind of is. That's the best way to describe it. When they crack your back super, and it feels just a huge release.
You're oh, everything's right.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like in your head when you're getting it work done. It's really cool.
Yeah, cool. And do you, any other modalities? Have you gotten acupuncture or
Yeah,
anything like
I've
that?
kind of like gone through like a lot of different things, and I feel like they all work. Like, just kind of depends on your preference. Like, I've gotten acupuncture. I love that. Like, I've had that for certain issues, and a little bit of dry needling. I haven't dabbled.
Dry needling?
Yeah, it's like they take an acupuncture needle and they kind of dig deep in your skin and lightly move it around, so hopefully it'll stimulate the muscle to release.
Okay.
Only to a point, and then just acupuncture in general. Like, I've had electrodes put on I've had tendonitis in my knee before, so they put needles like on each side of your knee, and then they attach little electrodes on it and then shock it for a while until it kind of relaxes. It all helps so much. Like, it kind of like pick anything and what's around you.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's really a wrong way to go. You just need to find something that works for you personally.
Yeah. Find a body worker you like, find something you can afford, and you know, honestly, every type of body work I've had has been from recommendations for other people. So
yeah, that's
the big thing.
Best way.
If you know somebody who's had a good experience with body work, give it a try.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think.
That is exactly it. That's kind of the way to go. And of course, like, I've gotten massage. I think massage is extremely helpful. Like, mind and body, again, it's like giving your body something nice for being so mean to it all the time.
I know, right?
Just thrashing it like on concrete or hard snow. And we're pretty hard on our bodies.
Yeah.
We need to remember to be nice.
I know. I could use a massage, honestly. Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, I think...
I mean, the hot tub tonight, treated ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, hot tub was great. Down with the hot tubs.
Yeah. Cool. All right, well, I want to move on to diet. What do you eat like? Anything in specific, or do you just, are you aware of trying to eat healthy? What do you think?
I am aware of it. I've gone through so many. It's like how I do body work. Like, I've gone through so many.
A lot of things.
Yeah, I've tried a lot of things. I haven't really been into the fad diets, but I've.
Fad diets or fat diets?
Fad, F-A-D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
got it.
For diet, I've tried my best to eat as well as I can. Like, I go through phases where I do super, super well, like eating a lot of vegetables, like eating good proteins and not eating too much sugar. I've gone through stuff like that. And then other times, like when I'm on a snowboard trip and you've been shoveling all day, you're like, I just want a fried burrito.
I know,
or like
right?
Fries or anything fried sounds good. It's warm. Like, you're like, the last thing you want is a salad.
I know, it's crazy. I wish I could get myself to eat a salad like every day, but when I'm snowboarding, I'm just like I just want food that has as much substance as possible. I just want it in my stomach now.
It's hard, like, because that's not, you're like, oh, I could have this delicious green salad. It has cranberries and almonds, and then you're like, oh, but this, like, burrito and rice and beans and cheese, like, that looks way better. Yeah. So winter, I kind of fall off the wagon a bit, but I go through times in the winter where I try and take a step back and then make smoothies in the morning and, like, just feed myself good things.
What do you put in your smoothie?
Oh, I love making smoothies. I kind of switch it up. So I was into these beet smoothies for a while. I was doing beets and carrots and spinach. It was a lot of vegetable-heavy smoothies.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, less fruit, less sweet. And then I'd put in a tiny bit of apple juice for, like, some sweetness. And then...
And what, do you have like a NutriBullet, or what do you use?
Vitamix. That thing is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
And then usually almond milk for, like, the main base, like, unsweetened. And then some yogurt sometimes for a little bit more sweetness. And then frozen bananas. And that's usually like kind of what I get. It makes the beets make this beautiful color.
Man, I want to try that. I've never even thought about putting beets in it. Just raw beets?
Yep, just
like
raw.
Take off the skin and
Nope.
chop it up, just throw it in there.
Just throw it in.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, I think it tastes great. Some people aren't a big fan of beets, but if you don't put too much in it, like, it has a very earthy taste.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down with earthy tastes.
Yeah.
That sounds like... I've been wanting to put more vegetables in my smoothies because, obviously that's good. It's better than putting in fruit. Like, you put a little bit of fruit for some sweetness and to actually be able to eat it, in the banana, obviously, to get the texture.
Yeah.
But you really can get... there's some nutrients in some vegetables that just you can absorb so well when they're blended, where a lot of times fruit just kind of turns into sugar when it's blended.
Yeah, exactly. Even some vegetables are easier to digest, I feel like, when they're in that form. Like, certain things like kale and broccoli are actually really, like, in raw form, are, like, pretty hard on your digestion.
Yeah, they are.
Which is kind of counterintuitive. You're like, oh, a kale salad is good for you, which it is, but it's kind of harder for your body to work through.
Yeah, and if you do a kale salad, and for those listening, one thing that I did when I was working in a food truck 2 summers ago, and we had this kale salad, and what we would do is we would massage it with olive oil, and like you take the kale in a bowl and put olive oil on it, and really like kind of, it's almost like you're chewing with your hands.
Yeah.
Like you massage it, and that kind of starts breaking it down. It tastes way better. And it just like you can digest it easier, I think, for some reason. I think just because it starts the breakdown process. But yeah, like raw kale just doesn't taste very good. No. But that helps. And extra virgin olive oil, it's like good for you too. So
I'm gonna have to try that. That sounds really good.
yeah, it's a pretty good one. All right, well, yeah, cool. Anything else about your diet that you really like, or do you cook a lot? When you're at home, like in the summer?
I try. I actually work a lot in the summer, so it gets really hard. I worked at a sushi restaurant all summer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Cool.
I ended up eating a lot of sushi, which I was trying to avoid eating all the rice, so I'd get like sashimi instead.
Okay.
But so my diet was pretty sushi heavy.
Yeah.
Which didn't seem to do anything bad. I felt really great at the end of the summer.
I mean, if you're getting good quality fish, it definitely is a very nutritious food. And
avoiding all the rice, because I didn't realize there's a lot of sugar in sushi rice.
Yeah, I believe it. And I think white rice is just, I don't know if I think brown rice is healthier, just because it's like the whole thing, and then white, I don't really know the difference. I'm not even going to pretend like I know. So maybe I'll do a little research and
I need
recap.
to research that one too, because I've heard brown rice is like kale. It's like hard to digest.
Yeah.
But I don't know the rice rules.
Yeah, because I know that I listened to this podcast where it's these dudes who talk about working out and stuff like that and diet, and whenever they bring up rice, they specifically bring up white rice, and they're like health geeks. And so I always thought that brown rice was healthier, but maybe there's something with the digestion, and it's just, I think there's maybe less calories in white rice too, maybe? I don't know. I'll do some research.
Yeah, you have to let me know that one.
Yeah. Anyways. Cool. Well, is there anything else in your life is there anything in your life that really makes you feel good and centered?
Yeah, actually, there's a lot. Having a home, like a really great home, and having Chris keeps me really centered, which is awesome. Like having somebody that you care about and that cares about you is kind of the biggest thing. I think, not kind of, it is the biggest thing. It's nice to have that comfort.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel the same way about my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Ashley Dawn. Yeah, it's just great when you have another person you can share your life with, and just go on adventures like mountain biking, and you guys probably cook together when you do cook. And
he's not much of a chef, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. He likes eating, so yeah, I like cooking.
Great. That's a good combo.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Cool. Nice. What else?
I'm trying to think. There's kind of a lot. Friends, definitely friends. I have a lot of good people in my life. They keep me like in a good headspace. Like when you're feeling a little unsure or sad, they're like pick you back up. I think just having a good support system in general is huge. And my parents are great and my family's great.
Mm-hmm.
So just, I guess having that network of just people that you feel like care about you is very important.
Yeah.
And the snowboarding community is just incredible.
It's
like,
amazing. I love it. We're so blessed. We can go anywhere in the country, basically, that has snow and have friends. And
yeah.
It's so cool. It's crazy.
They're like, stay on my couch. And you're like, you can stay on my couch.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like every time I try and explain it to people, like when you're traveling, like, well, where are you staying? It's like, oh, probably at a friend's house. And then
they're like, wait, what?
You start to like take that in and like you say that a lot and you're like, wow, that's really cool. Like that's like all over the country and like extends to all over the world. Like it's really, really cool.
Yeah. Like I went to Austria and I stayed with Ethan Morgan and I had never really, I had like met him in the past, but never really hung out with him or anything like that. And he rides for sessions as well. So I just hit him up and I had a place to stay in Austria. So I was like, all right, I'm going to Europe. And it's just super cool to have that.
Yeah. Everybody is just down. They understand like you're kind of like on the same mission, like not on the exact same path, but on like the same mission. You're like, we're all these
just
crazy
a lifestyle.
Yeah. We're all these crazy kids who just like doing the same thing and it makes us happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's such a blessing.
Agreed.
Well, do you have a pretty good relationship with sleep? That's another thing I've been trying to ask people from time to time. Like, do you get a good amount of sleep? Like, how many hours usually?
That one is across the board. I don't know. I think I could work on consistency with sleep. I think that would help my mood better at times.
Yeah. Is there anything that you use to help you get to sleep?
No. Sometimes I drink tea, but like sleepy tea, but I don't take supplements or anything like that. Yeah. I try and stay away from anything that puts you like that you become reliant on.
Okay, yeah. Do you take any supplements?
I take a couple. I've been taking turmeric a lot because my neck to help with the swelling. And I take vitamin C and collagen, which work together really well. Mm-hmm. But that's mainly for joints and like soft tissue to staying healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about collagen and I've been considering taking some myself. I heard it's good for your skin and stuff too. And I have a problem with I think I have eczema. I don't know. I have a problem with like super bad flaky skin on my face. And if I don't put lotion on every single day, it gets real bad.
I think that would help. I get mine with hyaluronic acid, which is supposed to be extra hydrating.
Oh, cool.
I went to a vitamin shop and this guy was helping me like put a little remedy together. But the good thing about that is like if you take too much collagen, it's a protein, so you'll just like pee it out if it's
absorb it. Yeah.
Well,
not absorb it, but
you can't like some vitamins can kind of poison you, which is like counteractive, obviously. Like,
you can definitely
you can overdo it
too much.
Yeah.
And the thing that I've learned recently about supplementation like that is a lot of times it's really strange, but a lot of times deficiencies and having too much, like if you say an iron deficiency and having too much iron, apparently those symptoms can be similar. And so like it could be kind of a bad place to be if you're taking supplements and you feel like you're getting the effects of not having enough of something that you're taking. So you're taking more, but that's actually your body's telling you that you're taking too much. And it's, man, if you dig into nutrition at all, it's just a wormhole. There's so much information and so much shaky science, and like all of it is still so new. Like, the whole nutrition as a field is new. Like we're always learning new things, and And the thing that's unfortunate is testing your blood for like a good test where you get all your levels and stuff is like crazy expensive.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So it's hard to stay on top of that stuff too. I kind of recently have been getting a little bit more into it and like, I think I want to just like test my blood and see like where I might be lacking and really kind of get my nutrition optimized. But then it's like, you don't even know who to listen to.
Oh my gosh.
Like I said, the tests are super expensive. Everybody's trying to sell you something. And
seriously.
And the thing about vitamins and supplements in general is the ratios on them are crazy. Like I take B12, or I was taking B12 regularly when I was vegan, and I still take it because I don't eat that much animal foods these days, and it's 1,000 micrograms for like one little pill is 1,000 micrograms, and apparently the recommended daily dose or the recommended daily intake is something like 2.5 micrograms or maybe 5 micrograms.
Wow.
It's like something super low, and this thing is saying take it every single day. And although I will say like only about probably half of that, maybe even probably less than half of that is actually absorbable as B12. But still, even if I absorb 400 micrograms, like if I only need like 2.5 or 5, and don't quote me on these numbers.
I won't.
But it's some crazy difference. And so I actually was looking this up, and the B12 vitamin that I was taking, I ended up finding this doctor who posted an article who said, take it twice a week. Like one pill twice a week, and that ends up being
like
a pretty good ratio for getting that amount. And then on the bottle, it's saying take 1,000 micrograms every single day. And so I can see how you could easily get carried away with certain things, especially if you don't dig in and like really understand what you're taking. Like, I mean, the thing is, that company, if you do take it every single day, you're going to buy a hell of a lot more bottles than if you're taking it twice a week. And then they don't put it at the actual amount, because then there's the problem of like, you won't actually get enough because you won't absorb that all. And so it's just like, and then there's certain pairings that you can do. Like you said, that this helps with that absorption. And there's certain things that block. Like I learned one the other day, like zinc and something else. Maybe it's vitamin C, maybe it's vitamin D. I don't know.
Like counteract.
There's something that one vitamin will block your absorption of this, and
that's so crazy. It's a very like deep. I don't think that's really hard to understand.
Yeah.
So I just take a couple things, not overdo it. I know like collagen, like I said, if you take too much, you pee out the rest of it.
And that's great.
You can't
I wish everything was like that.
Poison yourself with it. Like, there's a thing about if you take too much vitamin A, like you can actually go blind. It's like,
wow,
like temporary. It's not gonna be permanent, but like, say vitamin, like it's like what you're saying. Vitamin A is good for your vision, but if you take too much, it goes the other way. It's like the iron thing.
Yeah.
So there's so much like. I wish I knew still that I want to keep learning, but I feel like just eating good food, like giving your body what it needs, like trying to eat as much vegetables as you can or getting your nutrients that way is always going to be the best way. Yeah,
then that's what a lot of nutritionists say across the board is like, if you can get most or all of your nutrients from food, that's obviously the better option.
Yeah.
And to do that, you make sure you eat vegetables. A lot of different, like color actually signifies different nutrients a lot of times. Like orange vegetables, like sweet potatoes and carrots have this thing called beta carotene, and that's like only in orange vegetables.
Yeah.
And so as long as you have like a wide array of different colors and you're eating, we're omnivores, so we're best eating like all kinds of different things. And then that other stuff is just, I don't know, eat healthy and then go from there. If you and then maybe if you're deficient in something, you can start taking it, or things like B12, which is like the number one, like if you're going to go vegan or vegetarian, like B12 that's an easy one. But
yeah. I'm also a firm believer in giving your heart what it needs. Like, there was a little bit where I was having a lot of hot fudge sundaes.
Oh, yeah?
With bananas. And, I mean, I put walnuts on. You know, those are healthy.
Yeah, walnuts
and
are
bananas.
great.
Yeah, I think just everything within reason.
Yeah, sometimes I try to like just eat healthy stuff, and then it kind of can burn you out a little bit when you're only just trying to eat healthy stuff and you're constantly resisting the urge to like have something sweet. Sometimes you gotta just let yourself do it.
You do.
Otherwise you're gonna drive yourself crazy.
I agree. I mean, life is essentially pretty short when you think about it.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy it.
You gotta eat pizza sometimes. You gotta eat
eat pizza sometimes. I gotta say, like, that was one of the hardest things when I was vegan, was no pizza. But I did figure out how to make a pretty badass vegan pizza.
There's that vegan cheese, the follow your heart cheese, that is so good on pizza.
Yeah, that stuff is great. And I'm actually going to take this as an opportunity. Somebody hit me up saying that when food comes up on the podcast, they're like, oh, all this food sounds so good. Like, if you could say a recipe or something. Yeah, first of all, that cheese is really good. And if anybody out there is trying to eat less dairy, I really don't recommend eating Daiya. It's like the worst vegan cheese that you can get. It's so bad, but the follow your heart stuff is good. And yeah, like, I would always make these pizzas. Trader Joe's has this pre-made dough that just, you cut it open, roll it out, throw some sauce on there, put the vegan cheese and a bunch of veggies, and it's just so easy. And honestly, with that cheese, it's like you're not even missing pizza.
No, you're not.
Pretty much.
I love it. Like, I think it's good. I'm not a vegan, but I like it a lot.
Yeah. Sometimes when you just want to stay away from dairy a little bit.
Yeah. It's good. I have a good recipe it's a healthy cookie.
Oh, yeah? Let's hear it. That sounds great.
It's so good.
I would love to hear this.
Would not expect it, like, what is in it to be in it. So you take the avocado. Avocados are the base. So you put avocados in a blender. I'd have to look at amounts to give it to you later, but you put that in with honey, peanut butter, and cacao powder, and then you just blend it up.
Whoa.
And then you put like a little bit of cocoa nibs in after, and then scoop it out and then bake it in the oven for like 10 minutes, and it comes out with like little tiny chocolate cakes.
Huh.
They are
and they're
so good.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
There's no eggs, there's no flour. Like, they're actually like good for you cookies.
Yeah, and the cacao nibs are great. And avocado, I already forgot. Honey, you said?
Yep.
Cacao powder?
Uh-huh.
And
peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Yeah. Oh my God, it's like making my mouth water. It sounds so good.
Really, really good.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. I can write that one down. I don't know if you want it after.
Yeah, definitely. I will.
I need to look it up, but
I'll give everybody the ratios at the end of the podcast.
I'll look that one up. I can't remember. I haven't made them in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. And Ashley, my girlfriend, she's vegan, and
she would love those.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you can do
all about it.
Agave instead of honey too, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and
some people are.
Yeah, I know. And when we were vegan, it was like we weren't eating honey, but then it's kind of like, that's one of those things that's really easy to slip in a little bit. Sorry if there's anybody vegan out there that offends you, but I know I love the bees. Honey is really good. But yeah, agave, I'm sure it'd be just as good.
Yeah, it's just a little sweetness.
Yeah, or maple syrup.
Oh yeah,
that's an easy.
I haven't tried that.
Another replacement for honey.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks again for sharing that and sharing your stories.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We got to make this work. We're in the attic of an Airbnb that we have, and everybody's hanging out downstairs, so maybe we should go join them.
Yeah, let's do.
All right. See you later. Well, actually, I'll see you downstairs. See all you later. All right. Have a good one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate every single one of you guys out there, every ear, right and left. All the listens matter a lot to me. This is a fun thing that I like to do, and I'm glad you like to listen. So now I'm going to give you this healthy cookie recipe in more detail. What we're going to need is a medium ripe avocado, 3 tablespoons of honey, agave, or stevia, 1 egg, but if you want to make it vegan style, you can make a flax egg, which is pretty easy to do. It's just some ground flax seeds and let it sit in water for a little bit, and it kind of gets a gelatiny texture, and that's a good baking replacement for an egg for vegan style. So 1 egg version of flaxseed. You can just look that up. It's pretty easy. And then we'll need a teaspoon of vanilla extract, half a cup of peanut butter or almond butter, half a cup of cacao powder, and a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips or cacao chips. And then pretty simple instructions. You just preheat to 350. Prepare a baking sheet with parchment paper. And then you cream together the avocado and sweetener until smooth. Add the egg or flax egg and mix until no lumps remain. Then you're going to add the peanut butter and slowly add the cacao powder, 2 tablespoons at a time. If the mixture looks sticky, leave 1 or 2 tablespoons out. And you want the consistency to be smooth, just like peanut butter. And then you're going to stir in the chocolate chips by hand and put the mixture in a plastic sandwich bag. Cut a hole the size of a nickel in one corner. And that's just so you can squeeze out the dollops of cookies. And then you're going to put it on the baking sheet, and you're going to bake it for 10 to 12 minutes or until the middle of the cookies set. And it makes 12 to 18 cookies stored in the refrigerator, and you got yourself a healthy cookie. I haven't had a chance to try this yet, but I'm so excited to give it a try. I'm going to definitely make it vegan style. And let me know what you guys think if you give it a try. So, once again, this is Jesse Paul from Board Bag Studio. Tuning out. Thanks for listening again. I'll see you guys next time.